minutes, and there's quite a few other speakers, so you have to control the time.
Thanks, Lascan Corla. And as you say, we do have 20 minutes, and I'll be sharing my time with 7 of my colleagues. And the reason, Lascan Corla, that we have 20 minutes is because the Whip's office in Fianna Fáil was inundated with TDs from my party who wanted to speak on this motion. And these are TDs who want to speak in a measured and factual way, to quote the Minister's language. And the reason they want to speak in it is because rural crime is such an area in their constituencies, and it's not some fictitious issue that has been raised in this House by the rural independents here. It will come as no surprise to you, Lascan Corla, and indeed any other member of this House, to learn that Fianna Fáil will be supporting this motion. The reason why it won't come as a surprise is because 13 months ago, we put forward a motion on rural crime that dealt with very many of the issues that are identified in the motion before the House this evening. The reason that motion was put forward some 13 months ago was because of the concern, the continuing concern of Fianna Fáil TDs, not just in rural areas, but indeed in urban areas also, about the issue of crime in our community. And let's be clear about what was debated 13 months ago and what we believe is the issue 13 months later as we stand here to discuss it this evening. The most important requirement that Fianna Fáil TDs and indeed members of the community want to see is they want to see greater visibility amongst members of An Garda Síochána in their communities and in their constituencies. That is something that adds to the confidence that local people have in the Garda force that protects them, but also it gives them a sense that work is actively being done on the ground to ensure that crime is being tackled. Now, in terms of visibility of members of An Garda Síochána, I note that in the City of Dublin, that visibility has improved in recent times. Anyone travelling around Dublin will be able to tell you that they notice there are more Gardaí out on the street and on the beat. And I'd be interested to hear what my colleagues from rural constituencies will have to say as to whether or not that is replicated in rural constituencies. Obviously, it's also important that if there are further Gardaí out on the streets, that they're not simply being used for the very important issue of detection of road traffic offences, but they must be there as well to deal with the other forms of criminal behaviour that take place in our constituencies. I also think we need to look at what else was discussed in the debate some 13 months ago. One of the issues that we raised was the issue of technology. It is still the case that the CCTV scheme that was rolled out many years ago by the government is being underutilised. And the reason it's being underutilised is that the scheme is too difficult to operate and implement by local communities. The Minister and the government need to be much more proactive in ensuring that local communities and communities in general have the benefit of CCTV. We know from areas where it is used that it acts as a very real deterrent to crime, and the Minister must take greater responsibility in respect of that, as must the government, to ensure that local communities know it's available and also that they know how they can use it. I also, on the last occasion, 13 months ago, raised the issue of our bail laws and how they need to be strengthened. And Fianna Fáil acted on that. We introduced legislation that got through second stage. It was legislation that sought to make our bail laws stronger so that there would be a presumption that if you were convicted of a serious offence in the previous 5 years from when you applied for bail, that the presumption would be that you wouldn't get bail. Now, although we managed to get it through the House here at second stage, we were opposed by the government. And at committee stage, we were opposed by the government. And unfortunately, the reality being the numbers in this House, we're not going to get that through. But the Minister and the government need to recognise that we do have a problem with our bail laws, and it's not some fiction that's created by politicians. So what I want to do now, Lascan Corla, is I want to hand over to my colleagues from rural constituencies to let them speak, and we'll be supporting the motion.